The Zodiac Killer's best suspect, why Arthur Leigh Allen was never charged. The Zodiac Killer murdered at least 5 confirmed victims in the San Francisco Bay Area between 1968 and 1969, and claimed 37 murders in taunting letters to police and newspapers. Despite an enormous investigation, no one was ever charged. The case's most prominent suspect, the man who the lead detective Dave Toschi believed was the Zodiac, was a school teacher and convicted child molester named Arthur Leigh Allen. Toschi's suspicion was shared by multiple other investigators and witnesses, but the case against Allen never produced charges, and Allen died in 1992. The evidence connecting Arthur Leigh Allen to the Zodiac was circumstantial but extensive. In 1969, Allen's friend Don Cheney told police that Allen had spoken in January 1969, before the Zodiac letters began, about wanting to hunt people for sport, calling himself Zodiac, and describing a plan to attach a flashlight to a gun to shoot at night. This was before the Zodiac had publicly called himself by that name. When police searched Allen's home in 1991, they found a typewriter, an extensive knife collection, bomb-making materials, and Zodiac novels. A physical description match was striking. Allen was a large, heavy-set man with brown hair, consistent with the composite sketches from the Lake Berryessa attack. Allen wore a Zodiac brand watch, and the Zodiac used a crossed circle symbol as his logo that appears on Zodiac watch faces. Allen was left-handed, which was consistent with handwriting analysis suggesting the Zodiac may have been ambidextrous or left-handed. Allen lived near the scenes of multiple murders and worked in areas relevant to the case. The most dramatic witness identification came from Mike Mageau, who survived a Zodiac attack at Blue Rock Springs in 1969. In 2009, 4 decades after the attack, Mageau was shown a photo lineup and immediately identified Arthur Leigh Allen as the man who shot him. This was a spontaneous, confident identification made decades later by a direct victim. However, eyewitness identifications made 40 years after the fact carry significant evidentiary weight in public opinion, but are legally problematic as primary evidence in a prosecution. DNA evidence is the most technically complex aspect of the case. In 2002, the San Francisco Police Department extracted DNA from saliva on stamps and envelope flaps from Zodiac letters. The DNA did not match Arthur Leigh Allen, who had died in 1992. Case closed, some said. But the problem is that the Zodiac letters were handled by many people, investigators, postal workers, newspaper employees, over decades before DNA techniques existed. The DNA on the envelope may not belong to the Zodiac. It may belong to a postal worker or investigator. Non-matched DNA does not exonerate Allen. The handwriting analysis of the Zodiac letters has produced conflicting results over the decades. Some analysts found Allen's handwriting consistent with the Zodiac letters. Others found it inconsistent. The Zodiac letters showed signs of deliberate disguise. The writer was likely masking their natural handwriting style, which makes comparison extremely difficult. The cipher elements in the Zodiac's messages required specialized knowledge. The Z340 cipher, solved in 2020, revealed a text that referenced a prison camp movie, but Allen's connection to the specific content was not established. Other suspects have been proposed since Allen's death. Robert Graysmith, whose book Zodiac is the most comprehensive civilian investigation, believed Allen was the killer. The 2007 David Fincher film Zodiac depicted Allen as the obvious suspect. Lawrence Kane, Jack Tarrance, and Gary Francis Post have also been named by various researchers, with a retired detectives team identifying Post as the Zodiac in 2021 based on cipher connections. The FBI has not accepted any of these identifications as conclusive. Arthur Leigh Allen died of kidney failure on August 26, 1992. He was 58 years old. He never confessed. He was never charged. The Zodiac Killer murdered at least 5 people, terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area, mocked police for years, and was never caught. The case that defined American serial killer mythology for half a century remains open. The witnesses are dying. The evidence is old. The Zodiac, if still alive, would be in his 80s or 90s. The man who most investigators believed was responsible took whatever he knew with him when he died. And the case file sits in San Francisco, still officially open, still officially unsolved.